Was popular, YouTube. One time for the one time. The intro, bringing it all the way back. God, it's like a classic launders POV demo analysis video. Today is another frag movie. Okay, we're going to be watching Device play against Fnatic. Long story short, Device puts up maybe his highest KD, his most steep KD of all time versus Fnatic. I feel like it's fair enough to eyeball this. Look, his next highest teammate at 15 kills. Nico put up a similar performance versus Astralis, but I think this even takes the cake there. 2.18 rating. I mean, these charts are just unfair. Very unfortunate for Fnatic to go up against this level of Device, and it hasn't been a flash in the pan. Device in the last couple of days has been kind of putting up big performances. I think most recently here versus Liquid had a double check, 76 kills in the 2-0, averaging over 30 here. Really insane stuff. And well, yeah, what can you say about that? That is just really kind of back-to-back miraculous level performances from Mr. Device himself. And you might be thinking, well, he must be playing on native. No, he actually switched back to or to a new res, 1280 by 960 black bars, the infamous Axile res, which all the really best pros play on. I will never be caught dead on it, but and I won't make you watch it either. But we are gonna be watching the game on 1280 by 960 regardless. Plus 27 in this game. I mean, Device is the player who is always the most Mr. Consistent, always top 5 in his whole career. The most consistent player of all time with the most longevity. Never number 1, but never not top 3, right? So even in his early days, 2017, the E-League, but it was his very, the start of Astralis before the E-League, the E-League Atlanta Major, where they won with Glaive. He was still top 5 in that year. And I think, 2014, back here, he got top 20. But as soon as he came into his own, he really just never let off the gas pedal. But as an individual player, he's always been called into question because, he stands alongside Simple and Zywoo, who obviously you could say maybe they have more individual talent than him. Maybe. Zywoo this year said that he felt Device was the best player in the world. And he said because of what he does for the team. And it's not as if Device has ever struggled individually. In fact, even when his teams were trash, he carried them. He was always a star. He was never a Simple level superstar or even a Zywoo level superstar, but he always carried his team and became an AWPer from a rifler because his IGL fetish was AWPing on his previous team way back before even like TSM, and he just wasn't as good as Device. Device would hybrid every once in a while and completely outclass him. So Device started AWPing, and now he's, in some ways, I'm sure that Device is a more studied AWPer than Simple, right? Because if you're going to learn from a demo for yourself, for a team, for anything, you're probably going to go to Device. I mean, I think his style is more replicable, even though I think there's some pro players that have said they've watched Device and don't pull it off in the same way he does. Kenny S is one of those players who said he thinks Device is the best of all time and studies him a lot, but isn't able to pull off the same level of composure in every round, barely having to move, always really in the right spot positionally. And of course, I mean, he's got the best team around him as well. But it's not like everyone makes it seem that he's getting carried in some way by Astralis. He is carrying Astralis every single year. He is the best player on Astralis. He is the most consistent player of all time. He is absolutely an individual star. And you couldn't replace him with anybody, any other Danish AWPer or otherwise, and expect Astralis to have the same results. That's just a false bullshit narrative that just isn't true at all. But yeah, in that same breath, not quite the individual overtaking ability of Simple, and that's why Simple has more space. But he does what he needs to do, and is super useful to watch his demos. So why don't we go ahead and do that and catch a rare, huge overperformance where he's more often than not top fragging, but not like this. So this is some crazy shit. Let's go ahead and check it out, huh? This should be a pretty exciting demo. I haven't watched it. I didn't watch the game. I got the live updates from chat. Makes perfect sense that we go ahead and check out a POV. And I mean, from beginning to end, it doesn't go to overtime, but it's 26 rounds. And there it is. The secret is in being good mannered. Device, have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun. And you can tell it's not a copy pasta. Actually, it might be some crazy bind. I feel like that's like some SpongeBob SquarePants level font, but yes, clearly in a good mood today. Rolled out of bed on the right side. Had his oatmeal and berries. But wait, hold on a second. Is this Device's crosshair? Because this is basically the same I mean, this is almost exactly the same crosshair that I was using in my games today. So maybe I'm onto something. You know, I found this by myself. I didn't have any 40 kill games today, but maybe I'm onto something. So we'll see. We'll see if it results in the frags. I think on 1280 by 960, Device here is looking at I want to say that's actually a -1 gap, not a 0 gap like me. I'm a true soldier, you know. I play on a 0 gap because I ain't scared of anything. But from these very long distances, it definitely does. It is nice to have a slightly smaller gap to make sure you're just right on the head. So, of course, Astralis now on the retake. We've got info on one sandwich. We don't find that kill. 2-on-3 retake. You know, probably unwinnable. Wow, not a single kill on the pistol. And I just want to say, you watch a game like this, you'd think he probably had a couple of good pistol rounds and a couple of good anti-ecos. The fact that he loses the first round, I'm going to call it right now, Device is going to get 3 kills with this scout on this force up, okay? Because there's no way this map ends 16-10 and they don't eco fnatic and Device doesn't just frag out on every round, even if he just has a scout. He's going to get a highlight. I feel fine, you know, risking my reputation on it. I think there's a very high likelihood that he just puts, yeah, okay, there's one. And it's just it's golden, right? So space not created this game. Okay, only got 1 kill. I don't take it back, but it was all just for fun. You know, I wasn't really risking my reputation. Wow, only 1 kill in 2 rounds and 40 kills in the game. Never even seen this. I had the same, hey, is it the knife that Zippel lent me? That he gave it over to Device? I think Zippel also lent me Device's caution hand wraps because that's the only other place that I've seen them. And Zippel gave them to me. I noticed that there was some sweat in them. And so I think it was probably Device's 1-on-3 situation. Maybe 1 for the road, right? Before we end up dying. No, not even 1 for the road. 1 kill in 3 rounds. This just adds to the pause champ level, right? Because now we're on the rifles. I mean, we're actually running out of time to get 40 kills, and he somehow is able to get it. So maybe we're gonna have some pretty fantastic rifle rounds. Or I downloaded the wrong demo, and that wouldn't be the first time I've done that. There's definitely a high probability that I downloaded the completely wrong demo, because already it seems pretty unlikely that he could get 1 kill in 3 rounds, get 40 kills in the game, and not even go into overtime. But the exec does maybe come his way. No. Back to outside. Instant to spot the cross. Doesn't fall for it for a second. Is trusting his teammate Inner to try to hold on. And so let's see what the position Device takes to get like his guaranteed frag. Now that he's successful on the read. Okay, he has to go for a very hard flick and hits it, but he is well rewarded. And he puts himself in a position to block that first flash as well. Super quick so far. Crims with a little whiff. JW gives him a chance too. And right now, of course, he does not miss. First shot was the best one, but he is the Punisher, right? You miss, you'll die. 1.9 at 400 on sensitivity for a Device. Looking nice so far. Don't think he's missed an op shot so far. And because of these last rounds, Fnatic have built up a nice economy. They can go ahead and rifle up again. Dupree in full monster mode. From the... Was he from Sandwich? Yeah, he's from Sandwich. Stopping them from getting out of T-Con. They can't even get to the... They can't even get to the op in this position. Okay, finally. He'll need to be called upon. So let's see how he rotates around the site. All the way back to Ivy immediately. And he got out of Heaven quickly, so they might have eyes forward. This is a position where you might go rat back 6 and then try to clear out Heaven. So I think Device... Oh, okay. I was going to say I think Device is hoping that they didn't catch him leaving Heaven and would make a mistake. Didn't realize that we'd have JW coming up late Ivy. But the play works perfectly. Nice moves from JW. Device has 4 kills now by round 5. Round 6. Ben Dupree's having a game for himself as well. On to the Deagle. 2 kills, or sorry, 2 rounds with the AWP. 1 round with kills. Right into his arms. He didn't even have to look up. He didn't have to do him the respect of looking up. Krims didn't bother clearing down there. So patient, doesn't even bother fighting the plant right away. See, that's where Device always looks the most calm and where he always seems like he's looking in the right position. You just, unlike most oppers, you never see him jumping around, flicking between 2 positions that often. He always just kind of trusts his initial read and waits for the play to come to him. And yeah, there's a spot where he just doesn't look for any more information. Oh, this is my Crimson Web that I was using last week. It's the same one, Zipple. Shout out to Zipple for lending me the skins. That is the charm of Device, I think. The fact that when you see him play, he, does the right play first. I mean, Simple has this trait as well, even though Simple is a bit more active. Simple, when you see him move around, the round comes to him because he's already a step or 2 ahead. And yeah, Device that's something he has in spades for sure. Which was great to watch. I was like, oh, why doesn't he look down? Well, of course, the bomb was planted on the side of Train. I'm not exactly sure if you could tell that the bomb was planted on the side of Train from upper, but my suspicion is after getting the kill on Krims that he realizes it'd be pretty obvious if he just peeked upper into the default plant. So he goes and thinks, what's the next gen tactic? My God, that was quick. Wow, he's fast today. That was a very, very quick shot. And I'd also like to say sometimes it's harder to hit shots when somebody jumps in from the other side of your screen. If you think that you're, a guy's on default peeking you, it's going to peek you from the right, you're visualizing that. That helps you hit your shot. Somebody jumps in from the left and you're clearly holding for the right side peek or something, then it can mess your aim up. But not today. Reacted perfectly. Yeah, super quick today. So far, so good. They're coming B fast. Look, he's not right up against the wall. This is a small thing, but something that people do, way too often. Standing right up against the wall when you go for picks, if you do that, you're going to show your body to them for more time when they are holding the angle, if they're opping themselves or whatever. So you're always going to do yourself a favor if you can. Stand a little bit back from the angle that you're peeking, the wall that you're peeking, so that you don't show your body before you actually peek. If you're gonna peek and well, they didn't even. Okay, I think this is kind of a poor execute from Fnatic. He's not blind until way too late. I feel like they didn't even throw a first flash after they walk out. Maybe they played contact, but yeah, I guess just once again just in a very fine position with his teammates holding things down from the back. And extreme patience as we hope for a mistake. And this is an important thing in the early portions of the retake. Your retakes come down always to how much time you have. if you have lots of time, you know, oh my God, wow, you just wait and see if you can punish, especially on a site like B site train, because B site train doesn't have a lot of great cover. So if someone's sitting on default, for example, they get nervous. If people are walking up on the left or right side, eventually they'll slightly swing something. So if you hold super tight on default on one side or the other, you're probably going to get a chance if you have the time to do it. If you're low on time, you've got to run up, that's a different story. But that's why in this situation, there's not really a better thing to do than just at least have somebody waiting to like try to punish. Rushing a retake when you have lots of time, it just almost never really makes a lot of sense. You can scale once you think that they're really not going to take risks and stuff, or they know you are just going to wait for the punishes. But yeah, if there's a chance your teammates are getting set up, just sit and hold an angle and chill. And it's just all about the clock. That's it. The double molly. They can't even run through that if they wanted to. And Device has a good excuse to peek behind it as well. And he clears that super properly. No way he could... Surely Device would see him in that corner. But he seems extremely paranoid that they had so much presence here and now are completely gone. Let's see if a situation JW turns the corner late. Golden comes... I bet this is a spot where Golden just comes turning around the corner really, really late on Ivy. And the rest of them go inner, something like that. Or inner hit comes out first. Jack dies with the bomb. And there's JW down Ivy. He was trying to lurk. And yeah, they kind of pulled off like some kind of full split, but yeah, just an eco. If you don't get the kill, you're not going to get people like Device in Ivy to turn around. If Device's E-box player dies in that position, then Device might turn around and allow JW to walk up. But as soon as Jack dies, you can't just be sitting there waiting for your lurk to work out. Eventually, you've got to take a risk. So partly for JW there, he kind of understands he might get off. He's just looking for a timing. Smoke down for ladder. And he's pushing up with Dupree. Interesting. So the 4v5, let's see how they play it out. Immediately going to take over T-Con control, but they're worried about Old Bomb or what? Interesting. They're taking over T-Con control, and there's some presence here, and they're just overstacking inner right away. T-Con control is so good because if they come towards T-Con control, your T-Con guy can be by himself and has a pretty big advantage on the fight. It's so hard to kill him, you know, 1-for-1. And wow, it's just a rotate. Wow, he just follows the guy. Snakes and ladders down into the site, and yeah, it really doesn't flick, you know. It's just mostly tracking shots, which are of course always going to be more consistent. And it is a pure farm. An ace here for Device. Holy. The yeah. That protocol is very standard, but it's what's the best part about it is how quickly they did it. And because they took over T-Con control so quickly, and once they lost a player, they got the rotation out and they got into really, really comfy spots on inner. So if you do it eventually and then you rotate inner, then you're going to be slow. The counterplay, of course, for fnatic was either just executing outer fast, or keeping someone inside of upper or inside of T-Con to try to, you know, counter Dupree on the push. If they did that, then it would have been 5v3 and a much easier round for fnatic. But instead, it feels like fnatic feel like they're just getting outread, when really Astralis had the information there. They had good information. And let's say you go rotate 3 inner in that position. If you go rotate 3 inner in that position, and they go outer, but they don't go T-Con, so they go like ladder and Ivy, your T-Con guy doesn't need help right away. He can sit and hold. He can fight ladder by himself. Such a good spot to take over control of. And honestly, not that hard on CT side. Yeah, Device using the M4A4, like economically in games like this, he's not going to always buy the op for himself. Sometimes he will. Sometimes the op will be saved for him. And yeah, I mean, the economics of the silence M4 versus M4, it makes sense to save money and whatever. But if you can't use the silence or you don't want to or you don't think it's good, it's more important that you get the kill than to try to save $200. So comfort is always going to be more important in my opinion than kind of small differences in the economy. Surely the round's over. It is, in fact. Okay. Yeah, I think the stats are like 75% of people use the M4A4 and 25% use the silenced, something like that. And there are some notable players that use the silenced M4. But, yeah. It's just kind of whatever you feel like you're good at. This is a weird execute. It looks like they're... Are they going to commit? Well, all this action goes down in T-Con and then they don't actually execute anymore. And it's a round where they're light on grid. Oh, wow, completely blind. And JW maybe went to fight him there. He shot literally because he went blind. And it was a great flash, so can't fault that play. Very, very, I guess, lucky for Device. Of course, you could say, oh, you could just wait a second. But you wait a second, maybe Device shoots and moves, and you don't get the kill, so. Did he saw? No. Did he saw? Did he see? I know, the coveted Magisk op, and Device finds a way to find an advantage in every single kill. Always looking so good. Looks like he takes over the reins for Dupree when he dies outside. And late round situations, watching him come up, coming up close to T-Con was interesting. I wonder if he'll try to do that again. The rest of his team is doing so good. They won't even need his help. Nearing the end of the half, and the impact is known. It's been a lot of rifle kills as well. I mean, this is not a, an easy 40 kill game, as we can see. And I think he does a lot more damage here on the CT side, but he was on pace on T side to have an equally good half. I think 16 kills next half, something like that. Just obviously a monster game so far. Love to see these adjustments, especially when Astralis lose a player. Because they act quickly. They act very, very quickly. They clearly believe in their protocols. Wow. On the timing. The Vice will catch them walking inside the wallbang. And now, not only can he rotate, but it's, the read is that he was turning the corner on the stairs, so that it feels like, oh, B was coming. And now they have pressure to actually do something. And also, look, Astralis take over T-Con control again. And they have the player advantage 5v4 here, so they can rotate even if they're not correct on the read. And Device just playing off these smokes that are just working so well for him. Surely 2 for free. Lights him up with the CZ. Smoke's a little fucked up down the ramp. He is not making these Swedes' lives easy. They're going to go for the T-Con control again. I don't know. Is that actually... Yeah, Dupree again, yeah. He's close to it. They're thinking about it. They want to. And as soon as they do it, we see the shift coming around. Oh, this would be the first time he fights on this side of Ivy. A brand new position. Holding very shallow, but this outside hold it's in a good spot to defend against Ivy. They've got the lobster pincer here. Okay, from the back of 5 as well as Device on this side. They have a sandwich player. They have one in Olaf tucked. the real risk is versus T-Con. If fnatic can't pull off some kind of split, these positions are too strong to hold outside. Inner would also be a nice hit, of course, too. Him and Magis holding the same angle. Full-on retake situation. Whole kit left over. Nothing baited out so far. See how he uses the utility. I mean, if there was, you know, if that was a... Oh. If he waited it out, could he get away with this? No, he's dead. Okay. fnatic will pull off 6 rounds, kicking and screaming. They had to really give it their all to get this far, and just such a high volume of frags. They even won a pistol round in that first half. That is pretty absurd. Again, 1 kill in the first 3 rounds for a Device, and he pulls off a 24 kill half, I think, overall. And now we move on to T side. And fnatic will continue to put up a fight. Just not enough. 23 in the remaining 12 rounds. What a stat. He's got to at least get a pistol round kill now, right? Okay. Let's make it a bit more sense. The Muertos. Every once in a while, checking up the sidewalk just to see if anybody is, you know, backpedaling, running up, that kind of thing. Yes, it is a risk. You can die sometimes, but you know, 2021 CS, you never want to be too static. You know, a few years ago, you could hold an off angle forever, whatever. But the timings are so important, and everyone's looking for every little bit of an advantage. And yeah, sometimes you're never going to see a position where someone just literally sits forever on an angle and sits and holds. You're always going to see them at least trust themselves to try to catch a timing, use a peek to try to put a little bit of pressure, buy some more time by peeking, by risking themselves, by peeking a little bit. Getting information is really where the focus is now. Taking slightly more risks these days for information it feels like the kind of more prominent philosophy, rather than execute heavy CS or just, you know, maybe too much patience or yeah, trying to go in blind. Playing, especially I think online, is cited by a lot of pros, a touch more aggressive, a bit more peak heavy, and a bit more in general for information, in a way that I think will stick when we go back to LAN, where if a good team has information, then they'll be able to organize around it better than if they, you know, come up with the sickest execute ever and go in blind. But Device is not the info getter on the team. That's Glaive and Dupree. They're the ones up front creating space, creating chaos, you know, trying to force the rotation so that Device can read off of their plays, especially here on T side. It's a pretty monumental map. So instead of watching just one half, or we got to watch both. This might be his highest kill map on record. Not confirmed, but seems likely. I feel like I'm comfortable eyeballing that. At least for the amount of rounds, definitely. Yeah. 11-6. Triple nades in the middle of sight, and oh my god, there's a punish. Brolin either you know, they're setting up for their grenades, or they're going to, you know, Brolin's going to, I'm not sure where he plays on train, so if he's going to go maybe sandwich, then he's jumping up on the middle of the train to jump over to sandwich. They focus him down, and we'll see if it is a pistol round. And it looks like the nades, they did more. They did a little bit of damage to JW as well. And the scale across the site. Well, again, when we talk about the outer site on train, we always talk about back 6 control, and sometimes back 6 control can even be taken from Ivy, right? Just anything that gets a player in this position right around Ivy to compromise all the spots in the back of the site. This really just helps all of the scaling from your players coming out of T-Con and the ones coming out of ladder to finally crunch once they don't see anybody, to crunch and get that bomb planted and to clear out the back of the actual bomb train. Uh-oh. It looks like JW really just goes for it. I think he almost pre-fires at the Vice, but the shot just does not register. Maybe slightly off. I honestly didn't even hear it in this demo. But that's an easy opening kill for Device. So now. Oh, you know what? This M9, I actually put the name tag on myself, I think. I actually put the @ZippleCS name tag on myself. Oofy. Super easy round. After that, opening kill. A little bit of pressure outside. Inner take. I mean, you know, what else do you even need? They're all grouped up. There's no great hold here, and it's 6-13. But surely, Astralis start losing rounds soon. These flashes are super simple. Just go over top of the site, and of course, you're thinking about your teammates coming outside, and they're not blind because the flashes are landing above their head, and it blinds everyone looking towards T-Con. So you're not throwing your flashes at or past the players you're trying to blind. You're just throwing it in their line of sight. So those flashes, while simple, are actually really, really important. And also, flashes like that, wow, man. JW wasn't even done peeking. Like, his knees didn't even fold. And it's just genius mode here for Device. Reading the situation perfectly. Finally gets caught off guard. It seems like every time he posts up on a position, someone appears. And, I mean, is this one going to come to him as well? Whoa. Almost snuck there into Ivy. Okay, now with perfect information on where this player is, how will Device play it? Well, he's successfully extracted and, yeah, now cannot be stopped. He's too quick towards inner. There's already a plant inside, and it could be ladder where someone comes up. But he hasn't done it quickly enough. Device beats him. And will outplay Golden as he goes to clear this out. Wow. Out-positioning every single player. And it just makes it look so damn easy, right? Just smart. Just slow enough. And there's some parts of that you just can't teach, right? I mean, the way he's reading where the next player is going to, you know, jump up on the train, that's one of a couple of positions where someone might peek him, but he's just going off his intuition. Like, yeah, I feel like this is where the next goal is going to come from. And you can tell when people are spamming smokes a lot, when people are like whatever, posting up on angles quickly or holding, that they are feeling the intuition. And it's an important part of CS. Holy shit. Okay. That might be one of the nicest shots so far. That's ridiculous. That was one where it looked, I mean, basically looked like he lagged. Like, it didn't even, he flicked so fast. Not only are they missing, it feels like he's even shooting faster than them sometimes. That is so crazy. Now, you heard Jack's scope go off, but my God, that was half his body. Oh, Zippix, he sees the shadow top train. Let's see how he approaches this. Oh, he doesn't. Okay. Zippix is like, I play this spot. Okay, Golden up the ladder flank. All right, let's move forward. Okay, they win a round. Wow, that shot into T-Con. That was beautiful. And yeah, Device probably hits a lower percentage of flicks than Simple does. And like, Simple maybe hits wider flicks than him, has maybe better reflexes, maybe. But yeah, of course, Device has many clips of his own for some just straight up great op shots as well. That was one of them. barely missing right now. Flash doesn't go far enough here. He actually draws back on it. I don't know if that goes all the way to the end or if it's just for the cubby in the corner, but... interesting. He actually flashes so shallow here. I don't... Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, okay. The second one went far enough. I was like, that seems so weird how shallow he flashed. "30 seconds waiting on Ivy." Okay, it's a confident call, but the smoke comes down, and unless they resmoke Ivy late, I mean, this is a risk by Astralis because it could be obvious to fnatic at this point, but oh, JW takes the risk pushing down Ivy. He gets punished. Now they're really on for this outer exec, and they can come fast. And again, we're securing back 6 control, but Brolin, oh, he does such a fantastic job there from the outside of 5 to the back of Ivy. It was similar to the setup that Astralis had to defend against a very similar take as well. And they end up winning. My gosh. That was, yeah, that was a great play by Brolin, but you can see how powerful that angle is. Once Device gets into that spot and he can see, he can cut through the middle of, outside. Like right in between these 3 trains and the bomb train as you see on the minimap, all the way to ladder. Any rotations back and forth are going to have to pass by his scope. It's such a powerful line. It's probably the most powerful line on all of train. And it's a position that's hard to get to, but once you get there, you basically have no reason to move. You have so much power, and yeah, if your teammates are still alive, you're doing a fantastic job just by not moving at all. That's really great stuff, but I think we have a couple of fnatic rounds ahead of us. Maybe some refrags here for a Device. My god, again, Jack waiting on the angle, waiting for the fight, but Device drops the hammer on him. Any exit bonus kills here? We know it's not the 1v4, but maybe he can make something of it. If you're just watching to learn, watch to see how he clears out his angles, when he crouches, what he clears. And with 40, seconds or so, he can kind of take his time. So this is positions where you'll be able to learn something about the way that he clears and likes to clear angles when he feels like he has a lot of space as well. You think that T should get money while saving? I think it's I think the way it is makes sense because the maps are quite balanced. So I think that's where you should balance economy from. If the maps are balanced, then you don't really have to change the economy too much, I feel like, personally. You always risk putting the maps at imbalanced situations. Upgrades to the AK. Punish. JW jumps into a wall. 2 more. And now to the op. And again, like, Device thinking 1 step ahead. Not here to clear out the site, but looking for that kill on the rotating player. The guy who's frantically coming in to deny space. Device is like, where's that guy? Not who's on the bomb site. Let my riflers deal with that. Let me think about who is way in the back. And there's no one here yet. So, yeah, you feel pretty confident that someone will come in on the flank with Brolin. He's a quick man. And Crim's walking up the side of him. We'll take him out. 9 rounds here. Back to a Deagle. Surely not going to do anything special. I mean, just because the Device's game, he's probably going to get 1 kill or something, but... Come on, it's got to end somewhere. Oh, a plant for the team? That's big. You see that translate into a round 1. Next round. Yeah, JW has been getting dumpstered all game. I think he's in a bit of a slump right now. Not in a fantastic position. here we are. See that plant, you know, full kit. His own op in hand. Head armor and all. Here to punish. And something a little bit new. They haven't done early full B hit. At least not with device. Of course, his rifler is just running down beside him as he holds on to, again, the strongest lines possible. He's not thinking about the small fish up front. He's thinking about where the rotators are coming in. And this is what Train is all about. Such an op map for this reason, because you can see so far ahead in time. Right now he's got a player behind him. This guy is pivotal so that he can open up and stay on angles like down the ramp. Doesn't have to turn around. And we see Oppers throwing a lot of the support nades as well, which is a cool dynamic between him and the riflers. Where, yes, the op gets set up, but the op also sets up. And it's all Dupree all day, except for this one kill. Now Crim's just left. Come on, top it off with a final op frag. You heard this? And there it is. Right into his arms. Beautiful stuff from Device. A fantastic game. You know, you learn a lot. He's just a monster. What can you say? That was, you know, that really delivered. That's probably the, of all the really, really high kills games that I've seen, like that's like, you know, ostensibly high. I think that was maybe the most or second most impressive in terms of how much actual impact he had on the rifle rounds, because I've watched, you know, the config record, the world edit record, but Nico's really high kill game versus Astralis was incredibly impactful. Device's high kill game here versus fnatic, insanely impactful. And of course, all the very top players have all had a couple of games like that. But yeah, that was super rewarding to watch, and on both sides, no less. So 40 kills and a 16-10. What more can you say? Amazing map from Device, and an amazing week from him so far. So let's see what he can do moving forward.